What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have for you all a very accessible, at least in my opinion as far as the champions go, Shoguns Grove Stage 24 team. Now let me pull up this RSL helper screenshot real quick. 0 out of 0 because it just now reset because I went back into another match, but it was 55 of 55. I like to make sure that the teams I'm sharing with you all are consistent. Okay, so this has been 55 success out of 55, and this is hopefully going to be 56 right here. Now I've been playing around with this team for the last several hours. Dumped way more energy, way more gems into it than I probably should have. And this is not the team that I'm going to be using. So if you can drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, it's going to be very much appreciated. The team that I'm going to be using, and I'll show you guys later on, is going to use Riho as well as Kymar. Riho in place of Gerda and Kymar in place of one of the Renegades. But I understand not everybody has those champions. So instead, we have Gerda Bogbrew, who I don't think needs to be that high of awakening. But unfortunately, I can't take it off of her. So this is just the testing I have to do. And we'll go over her specific uses, and maybe you can think of some other champions who can fill that role. But then past that, we have two Renegades, who obviously work for the resets on Gnut. We have Gnarlhorn, who is the Enfeeble tank. Incredible. Shout out to Nub Raids for making that popular. I saw that video from him. So Gnarlhorn is an incredible champion. And then the dude Gnut doing 3.4 million damage. Obviously, the true MVP of this team. And apparently, Gerda is doing more damage than what I thought. So sweet. Oh, probably from the Brimstone. Speaking of, the Brimstone Blessing is very important. Get it on Gerda or get it on Gnut. Either one is going to be very, very helpful. Now, as far as this actual presets go, I want to talk about this first. And I do want to mention two very important details. It is in the presets, but some of you guys may not think it's very important. And that is this A2 ability. Turn it off because it can place decreased speed. And even if you have 200 accuracy, sometimes you get through. And sometimes you'll place that decreased speed, and sometimes the boss will just ruin your entire team because you're not speed tuned to place the decreased speed. Now, if you do that, it's a completely different story, but assuming you're not, turn off the decreased speed on both the Renegades, okay? Make sure you do that. Also, before I get into the presets anymore, I want to give another big disclaimer that also caused me to waste so many gems and so much energy. Make sure no champion on the team has any turn meter boosting masteries, okay? So, no Arcane Celerity, no Rapid Response, no Cycle of Revenge, and honestly, no Cycle of Magic on champions who have to use their abilities at a specific time. So Gerda Bogbrew, Renegade, those are the two I can think of especially. Gnut, perfectly fine, not a big deal. Now, as far as the actual presets go, this is what I have. Like I said, I'll show my main team after we do this one. So Gnut, here we go. Gnarlhorn, there we go. Renegade, opening with the A1, prioritizing the A3. This is the fast, I almost said slow. This is the fast Renegade at 200 speed. We have Gerda Bogbrew opening with that A2, prioritizing the A3, and then number 2 priority of the A2 ability. She's pretty fast, 262, but really not insane speeds for stage 24 of Shoguns Grove. This is my slow Renegade. She is not base speed, but she has a little bit of gear. I tried base speed and it didn't work. And to be honest, these speeds are not a science, okay? These speeds of this team, I have no clue if it's super specific, if I hit it lucky, or if there's a big range. All I did, and I'll go over this later on, basically is I did a run. Okay, it's failing here. This champion needs to be increased speed just a little bit. This champion needs to be dropped down a little bit. And then eventually I got them all slotted in perfectly. At least I believe perfect. It's been perfect the past 56 matches. So it's good there. And now it's working pretty smooth. So that's her speed right there. And that's her presets. Now, as far as these actual champions gearing goes, this is where it's not super complicated, except for on a few champions. Number 1, Gnarlhorn. Make sure he has the most crit damage on your team. You can do that by stacking crit damage sets, but also make sure he's tanky. It does help if you can throw in a shield set champion, a bolster set champion on the team as well, but make sure he can survive that first hit because he's going to be going pretty slow. Make sure he can survive, make sure he has the most crit damage on the team. Shouldn't be that high of an ask, and you don't need any crit rate whatsoever. So that's his gear. Skills, fully book him. Blessings, he doesn't have anything yet. I have no clue what I even want to use, so I'm just not going to use anything right now. I don't really know. But either way, masteries, of course, he has extra crit damage. This is not doing any damage to the boss, but it's allowing me to get that extra crit damage so that he can be the Enfeeble tank, which is exactly what he's going to do. So there's Gnarlhorn. The next champions are Renegade 1, the faster one. 200 speed, nothing else really matters, to be honest. You don't need any accuracy, nothing matters. Just have her close to the speed as you can get. You should be in a good spot. Skills, fully book, of course, okay? Fully book her. Masters, if you can get some blessings on her, definitely do it, because blessings do help in this dungeon for sure. Keeps that Shogun's Grove counter, that Shogun counter, whatever it's called, keeps that kind of at bay. And then the masteries, we have War Master. So if you can pick it up, go War Master. If not, Not a huge deal because 99.9% of the damage is coming from Gnut anyways. So that's Renegade number 1. And then Renegade number 2 also has War Master, is also fully booked as she should be. And then the artifacts are non-existent. Actually, we could take off this stuff as well, just to really, dramatize it. Dramatize, is that a word? Sure. Really, emphasize that she doesn't need gear. She just needs a little bit of speed. I tried this with no speed. It was too slow. Don't do that. Not that. Maybe you could if you change the speeds of your other champions, but I'm not going to do that. So that is Renegade. Now, Gerda, she's in the bolster set, like I mentioned, for Gnarlhorn. Make him survive. She's at 58,000 HP. Not massive, but it's enough to give him a little extra support so he can actually take that hit. And then once he gets unkillable, it's perfectly fine from there. Decent defense. She does need good accuracy. The resistance on this stage, I think, requires you to have like 550 accuracy, or something like that. Basically, she's at 480. Gnut brings an extra 80 aura in dungeons, so it helps us actually land all of our debuffs, which is the most important, well, one of the more important parts of Gerda's kit. Matter of fact, let's actually talk about Gerda's kit. So why am I even bringing Gerda? She's a login champion. Nobody really uses her. I mean, some people do. YST is a big fan of her, and I like her too. She's really fun in a lot of arena a lot of fun in one specific arena team, but she brings some very, very good things for this specific dungeon. So this ability has an 80% chance of removing one random buff from all enemies, irrelevant for this content. Then an 80% chance, all this stuff is booked with a 100% chance of placing 2 5% poison debuffs on all enemies for 2 turns. This isn't massive, but it does help squeak out that little extra damage that you need to go ahead and kill the Shogun if Gnut doesn't do the max HP hit like he should, and he doesn't always do that. But this right here is the part of her kit that allows her to be so viable when coupled with the weaken as well. But this removes 2 random debuffs from all allies. Well, the Shogun places 2 debuffs on everybody. So she's removing 2 random ones. Well, it's only going to be the decreased defense and the enfeeble, which are the only ones we really care about anyways. So she's just going to remove them, which is exactly what I need. She also brings the A2 ability that says attacks all enemies, which I don't care. We only need single target stuff anyways, but an 80% chance when booked up to 100% chance of placing a 25% weaken for 2 turns. This is the only other champion that I could find besides Riho that brought a cleanse that was more than 1 debuff and also an ability to increase your damage. Bad Alcazar does it as well, so you could possibly use him. He doesn't place weaken, but he makes you do a little bit more damage to targets under poison, so he's possible to work, but I'm not for sure. But Gerda Bogbrew is working. She does work. She brings that weaken, so she does boost your damage as it is. Honestly, I may even try out Bad Al. Bad Al may not be a terrible option. I mean, this is on a 3-turn cooldown. This is on a 3-turn cooldown, so it may be worth trying. He just cleanses everything, so he may do it without any issue whatsoever. But I wanted to use Gerda because she's also a login champion, right? I don't know when she's a login champion. I got her a long time ago, but yeah, she is. So there we go. Masteries. Well, as far as the skills, make sure you have Brimstone. Brimstone's fantastic. Like I said, I don't know if you need this high of awakening, but this is what I have, and it's working. So I can't say, hey, you don't need it, or hey, you definitely do need it. I don't think you do, but I'm really not 100% sure. As far as her masteries go, the offense tree, kind of irrelevant, to be honest. Support, we're picking up extra accuracy because my gearing with bolster isn't good enough to give me enough accuracy. So there we go with Gerda. Now, last up is our boy Gnut, or Gnut, or Gnut, or just Nut, or Mr. G. I don't know. There's all kinds of different names for him. But today, he is wearing some crazy crit damage gear and still not hitting the max HP cap for this dungeon, which I think is crazy. I don't understand it. He's not ignoring defense, so no savage, no lethal, no cruel, nothing like that. But I mean, come on. He's at 311% crit damage. What am I doing wrong here? He has okay defense, good speed. This is important. Keep his speed pretty close to this number right here. I did have him in Relentless. I just can't hit hard enough to actually make it work. This is not my Gnut build, by the way. The actual Gnut build that I'm going to be using is a Relentless build. It is about 300% crit damage still, but it's not going to be this one. You don't need accuracy for him for this area of the game, so you can change his build for that. But as far as this goes, I'm just trying to make him hit that enemy max HP threshold, the cap, every single hit as often as possible. So you can try to do the exact same thing. As far as this stuff, I actually did use some of the Shogun's Grove materials to go ahead and ascend his necklace because, like I said, I need as much crit damage as I can possibly get, and this is a perfect place to get it. Now, as far as the skills, of course, he's fully booked. As far as the blessings, go Brimstone, you can go Soul Reap, you can go really anything that's going to make you do more damage. And then as far as the masteries, we're going Giant Slayer. Now, there's been a little bit of a debate in my own head about should I go Giant Slayer and have a chance of adding about 23,000 damage, I think it is, each time? Or should I go Flawless Execution and have a guaranteed chance of having the extra, or not guaranteed chance, that makes no sense, guaranteed extra 20% crit damage if I knew the exact crit damage number that I needed, and there may be a calculator out there for this, but if I knew that number, I could go Flawless Execution and make it make sense. But at this point, I'm thinking that the Giant Slayer makes the most sense since his A1 has a chance of activating Giant Slayer, his A3 has a chance of activating Giant Slayer, we turn off his A2 ability, so he should have enough chances to activate Giant Slayer to hopefully compensate for the lack of cap in that max HP hit. Now, we're 10 minutes into this video. Hopefully you guys aren't bored. I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and show you all the actual breakdown of the team. So we're going to turn to one-time speed, mind-numbingly slow, but there you go. You see the Shogun hitting Gnarlhorn. That's exactly what I want to happen. And then Gerda comes in with the Weaken. Now, this is one of the only times that Gnut actually has the Weaken activated when he's hitting the Shogun, unfortunately. Unless, of course, you have the debuff extension mastery, which Gerda does, but of course it doesn't always activate. So here we go. Gnut is using her A3. 409,855 is the cap. But you can see there, one of those hits didn't do the cap. So we did get some Giant Slayer procs, I believe, but either way, we have the fast Renegade going now. We have Gnarlhorn placing the unkillable on himself. You do want to make sure he goes, ideally, before the Shogun does that attack right there. So at least he can survive, right? If he dies, you got to fix it, revisit it. And now Gerda comes in with her Cleanse, that A3 ability. The Cleanse is going to remove 2 debuffs from everybody, 2 at random, and what makes it everything, okay? So everything's removed. Gnut is not using his A2. You could use his A2 if you built it with accuracy and you wanted to actually place that Weaken. Definitely, go for it. Now, I have no clue what just happened here. Literally every single run past this was successful, and then all of a sudden I turned to one-time speed and the run just falls apart. It's literally been 56 matches successful, and now I guess it's 57 of 58. That is disgusting. I have no clue what happened there. Shogun's Grove stage 24. I don't think I changed anything. Did I change something? Oh, I think I took off that Renegade's gear. Did that mess it up, actually? That's the only thing that's different. Let's see if it does. Okay, so Gnut does his A3 ability. Boom, boom, boom. 409,000. We're solid. Renegade does this hit. The slow Renegade gets a turn. Maybe. Okay, so Gerda cleanses everybody here. Cleanses everybody. You got to make sure that nobody does an attack before Gerda cleanses. So that's the very specific speed tune that she has. Okay, so apparently, I guess removing those accessory bits from Renegade actually did mess it up. Let me go in here and put that back on her. I was like trying to, flex a little bit and be like, oh yeah, I don't need these accessories, but apparently I do need these accessories actually. So we're gonna put this HP stuff back on her. This run was literally perfectly fine until I changed this. So HP stuff. All right, let's try this again. Strange, strange, strange. All right, so nothing else was changed, I don't think. Gnarlhorn taking the enfeeble hit like he always should. Gerda does her A2, places the Weaken. Gnut comes in with a triple hit. Boom, 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 drops his HP. Renegade, boom, A1. The next Renegade doesn't take a turn yet. You got to make sure that nobody gets any turns before Gerda does her cleanse. Unless it's Renegade doing the reset, that's fine. So Gerda cleanses everything. Gnut does his hits. I'm going to have to watch back in the replay and see what happened there. So now the Shogun hits Gnarlhorn, which isn't shared to anybody else this time. Renegade gets the reset. Gerda does that. I'm honestly so confused why that messed up. But you can see here, with 311% crit damage, Gnut is still not hitting the max HP threshold, which is like 406,000 damage. He was hitting for 311, which is just nuts to me, or I guess Gnuts to me. But either way, here he comes in for last few. We do have another Renegade reset coming in, I do believe, or I sure hope so. If not, this is going to be extremely awkward. But Renegade comes in, she resets. Gerda does the cleanse, exactly perfect timing that I need. And then Gnut comes in for this final big smack. We will use it on 2x speed once again, but it gets very close sometimes to actually killing the Shogun. Sometimes it doesn't actually kill the Shogun there. And what ends up happening is the poisons or the extra brimstone procs come in and then the Shogun dies. So we're going to do another run now that Renegade is actually fixed and show you guys once again what actually happens. So turn 1, the Shogun is hitting the enfeeble onto Gnarlhorn. Gerda is placing Weaken ideally, but if she misses it, we have Gnut geared in a way that hopefully he can kind of compensate for that. If he's doing like 200,000, 250,000 damage per hit, it's not going to be enough, and you're not going to be able to really recover from that. So here we have Gerda cleansing. Make sure that if you change these speeds, make sure your Gerda cleanses either before anybody does an attack or right after a Renegade reset. So right after the slow Renegade resets. Because if your Gerda doesn't cleanse and you weak hit, you drop 3 hits into the boss from Gnut, and they're all weak hits, yeah, it's going to be a bad day. Okay, so definitely make sure that is situated. 350,000 damage, that's okay, especially since we do have some Giant Slayer procs happening. It kind of compensates for that. Also, we have the poisons and the brimstone. It should all be perfectly fine. Without brimstone, this wouldn't work. So Gnut is doing 3 sets of 30% max HP, basically. So that's going to be 90% total max HP. We got to find some way to compensate for that last 10%. Brimstone, Giant Slayer, War Master, that's going to be our answer. There we go. Gerda doing the cleanse. It feels so smooth, guys. It feels so smooth, so nice. Like, the tune is very solid. We didn't kill the boss, but that's okay. We have the poisons to activate, possible brimstone to activate. The weekend was placed, but if we go past that turn with no death, we die. Okay, so you do got to make sure that you do kill him those 2 rotations. If not, it's going to be bad. But I'm going to leave that little confusion part there. If anybody knows why the Renegade was dying because she didn't have the ring or the necklace, I'd be interested in knowing, because I don't see where the ring or the necklace actually make a difference. But somehow the team was getting one shot when she didn't have that, but wasn't when she did. I mean, we've done 3 in a row here. I don't want you guys to think I'm lying, because I'm not. But yeah, for some reason, actually, I may have a recording but before this where it shows that I did do the 56. But either way, we're going to get the reset here, and it's going to be fine. Also, I don't want you guys to invest resources into something that's not going to work. So I want to show you guys that this does work, and it did work 56 times. I may have to grab that Imgur link and link it down below in the comments so you guys can actually see it. But yeah, it was 56. It was 56 successful in a row, and then I changed Renegade, and then she failed on me once. So actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and move this RSL helper stuff over there. I'm going to go ahead and pull up this video right now and show you all that the recording I did right before this one started, it was good. It was 56 of 56. This is going to load. We'll get a few runs in here. Hopefully I'm not talking too loud. To the channel, guys. Today. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's just a test of my recording. Okay, here we go, guys. Perfect. A recording inside a recording just to prove that I'm not making stuff up. Here we go. All right, so Shogun's Grove right here. You can see me right here, me in the background. My eyes all wide, but 53 of 53. That was obviously 3 or 4 times before I did this. It was 100% successful, guys. So, hey, don't take my word for it, but take the screenshot for it. Weird things happen sometimes. Weird things happen. But guys, thank you all very much for sticking around to the end. 18 minutes. Hope you enjoy. Actually, no. It's not time to go. It's time to show you my other team, all right? I definitely can't be making stuff up here. So this is my other team. This team, I have not tested for 100% success rate. This one I've not ran that many times. It's the one I'm going to be using, and I'll adjust it if needed, but I haven't tested it that much. So Gnut, Gnarlhorn, Renegade, it's the fast Renegade, the 200 speed Renegade, Riho, A2 is the opener, and then Kymar. That's what we got. So here we go. Let's go ahead and jump here and try this. This is much safer. Now with this team, I dropped the damage from my Gnut just a little bit because Riho places the burn, so it compensates a little bit. I do have some brimstone, I believe, on Riho as well. She has accuracy, so she can place the brimstone. And I don't really need as much damage because Riho has decreased defense and weaken. So I just use my relentless Gnut, and it's really perfectly fine. So 21 stacks. It's stacking up the stacks. Definitely it is. But it's not a huge deal because once we get back around with Gnut, we'll go ahead and finish off the boss. We are climbing up higher, but you can read this counter, okay? So at 30 stacks, when Shade counter reaches 30, Akamori will also not receive damage from skills or masteries that scale based on Akamori's max HP. So at this point, it gets dangerous. But as long as we can kill him before he gets to that 30, then we're going to be okay. Kymar obviously adds some extra stacks to that, but then Gnut comes in and goes in and finishes him off. At 20, I think, stacks, he doesn't take damage from HP burns, but this team's like 30 seconds. I haven't seen it fail yet, so I'm going to go ahead and just keep with that and then hope that it continues to not fail and continues to go very smooth. I don't know how. Okay, just now we didn't reach the max cap. Just a weekend, no decreased defense, so we weren't doing the 409,000 damage that I would like to do, But Renegade comes back around because of the Kymar reset and does the exact same thing again. See, there we go. HP burn, decrease defense, and weaken. Gnut comes in, does his A2 because he doesn't want to do his A3 apparently. Does his A2, but the Shade counter is at 13 right now. It's going to go up more because of Kymar. But then boom, 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 and there we go. 35 seconds, GG's. That is the team. You saw the presets, you saw the speeds, nothing super specific. I'll show you guys real quick though. Riho, Masteries, War Master, easy. Kymar, arena stuff, no relevant masteries. Gnarlhorn's the same, Renegade's the same, and Gnut's the same. So just these two different champions. It's a little bit faster, a little bit easier to build for because you can drop Gnut's stats, but in general, they're both very functional teams. The other one's much more accessible than this one. But guys, we're at almost 20 minutes now. So once again, thank you all for making it to this point in the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully it helps you out with farming some nice stuff for Shogun's Grove. Obviously, I haven't messed with stage 25. All I did for these stages was throw in some like random mismatched teams and just push through it. I would use like Ninja, some Kymar resets, some Renegade resets. I did use Gnarlhorn quite a bit, but I'm rambling now. Thank you guys. I'll catch you all in the next one.